Welcome back to my channel, guys. So today I'll be discussing healthy living in 2025. I will walk you through what I'm doing, what I'm no longer doing, and how I plan to be the best version of myself this year. I love January because it's very much a month of reflecting on what I do and do not want to continue on in the new year. I considered not making this video as we're at the end of the month, but I did think it would be helpful to just go ahead and put it out there just in case there's any of you who want to join me in healthier living. Also, and this kind of goes without saying, but I have to say it, I am not a doctor, so anything I discuss today, if you decide you want to do it, please talk to your healthcare provider first before you make any changes to your lifestyle. So let's start off with the fitness section, specifically walking. Walking is something I started doing last year when I began working with my functional nutritionist, and I was only walking outside. So that was during the midwinter months and into spring, but by the time summer rolled around, walking outside had become unbearable and I bought a walking pad. As I'm sure you know, walking is incredibly beneficial as it helps our bodies in so many ways outside of just weight management. Walking can help strengthen your muscles in your joints, reduce your risk of heart disease, aid in digestion, help control your blood sugar, reduce stress, and so much more. I like walking because it's gentle. I have PCOS and hard workouts can spike my cortisol, but walking doesn't do that. As far as my fitness plan when it comes to walking, I aim for a minimum of 10,000 steps a day, which is pretty standard. I can achieve that by walking on my walking pad for 45 minutes a day. 45 minutes works for me because it can typically knock out 5,000 steps right there and then I can get the additional 5,000 steps and then some with my regular everyday movement. I started walking last year, like I said, fully plan to continue doing that into the new year, but I'm taking it up a notch because recently I heard this piece of advice from an older woman who said to choose one day a week to complete all 10,000 steps in one go. I chose Mondays, so now every single Monday I get on my walking pad and I do not get off until the pedometer says 10,000 steps. I don't really care about the time it takes, but typically it takes me about an hour and 20 minutes and I keep my pace between, I think, 3.0 and 3.4, never any lower or higher than that. Like I said, it's something new I've started this year. I've been doing that the entire month of January. It's not hard at all, and I don't do any other workouts on the day that I do that 10,000 step walk on my walking pad. And if you don't have access to a walking pad or you don't like walking inside, walk outside if you can. If you have a local park or a place that you can walk where you feel safe, I definitely encourage doing it. Sometimes I'll just walk in my backyard if Margot's napping and I can't go out into the neighborhood. Like I said, last year I spent the bulk of my time walking outside my neighborhood and it was so nice. But inside works best for me, especially when the kids are home and then also when the weather is too hot or too cold. Overall though, walking is just so good for you. The benefits and the fact that it's low impact can make it a very easy place to start. Next, as far as fitness, is Pilates, and I started reformer Pilates in 2022. You guys may remember that if you were here back then, and I absolutely fell in love with it. When I started Pilates, I was only doing it 2 times a week and I could feel my body getting stronger. However, I probably would have seen more results quicker if I was going more often, but I was just new and starting out. But even with just 2 times a week, I was noticing my arms and my thighs were toning up more, and my core strength was so much better after starting Pilates. Pilates can also improve your flexibility, and I'm someone who very much believes that flexibility is the key to longevity and that we shouldn't just be moving our bodies. To me, it's not enough. We need to be stretching daily. Pilates has also improved my posture and has taught me how to breathe properly when I'm working out. That's not something I really realized that I was doing incorrectly, but it straightened that right on out. Posture is still a work in progress, and this is silly, but something I'm terrified of getting is tech neck from constantly looking down at our phones or our laptops. So remembering to roll my shoulders back and elongate my spine when I'm just doing everyday activities has been something I try to keep at the forefront of my mind. And if you take a Pilates class, you're being told about your posture and how to pull through your entire body. So yeah, I try to keep that in mind throughout the day as well. And Pilates definitely helped me stay more aware of that. And for all the wellness girlies, Pilates is great for your lymphatic system as well. All that to say, I took a break from reformer Pilates when I was working with my nutritionist last year, because she's also a certified personal trainer, and I didn't want my Pilates classes to interfere with what she had me doing. When I finished with my nutritionist, I decided that I was ready to go back to the studio. However, I was unable to find any available classes in the small window of time that I have in the morning when I drop Margot off at pre-K, and when I pick her up, she's only half day. And while I do love that she's only half day because she can be home with me more in this final year before starting school, it really limits the amount of time I have in the morning to take a fitness class, but then also get the other things I need to do done in the morning. So for the remainder of this semester, and then during summer break, because the kids are home and I can't leave them here and I can't take them with me, I've decided to focus not on reformer Pilates anymore, but on mat Pilates. And I'll just do that until August, and then once they're both in school, I'll have 7 hours to find a class that suits me. But mat Pilates is going to be where it's at for me for the bulk of this year. And then once we're settled into school, I will return back to the Pilates studio for reformer, because I'll never give it up. My goal at that point would be to go 5 days a week, and then also walking at home. For those of you who are interested in mat Pilates, the ladies that I use to do my workouts are Move with Nicole and Pilates by Izzy here on YouTube. And then I also have a Peloton account, and they offer beginning, intermediate, and hard classes for people with that membership. And there's a ton of other memberships you can buy and subscriptions with other companies. Those are just the 3 that I have and what I will do for the remainder of the year. And that is my fitness plan. It's not difficult at all, and it's very much doable, and doable is what I need for sustainability. Okay, so now I want to quickly talk about health and wellness and what I'm doing as far as staying healthy. My biggest suggestion, and I'm not suggesting this because it's, you know, I'm not a doctor, but this is something that I actually did. My biggest suggestion would be go get your labs done, go to your doctor and just ask them to do a full workup of all your labs. That way you can see the areas where you might be deficient, or, you know, health problems that you might need to fix, and that can easily be fixed at home. And that can be the starting point for the type of workouts you decide to do, and how long you do them, or how hard you do them. And overall, it can help you determine your own personal goals. And it also gives you a baseline, so that once you've implemented your program for a certain amount of time, you can go back in and see if you've improved in any way. So definitely get your labs done. A few things that my labs indicated that I kind of already knew was that I have the potential to be pre-diabetic again. I'm not at the moment, thankfully. I was a few years ago, pre-Margot, but also that I'm insulin resistant, which I knew, and that I'm vitamin D deficient. And vitamin D is important. A lot of us are vitamin D deficient as well. Knowing these things now can help me make changes while I'm still young, and hopefully avoid issues when I'm in my, you know, 60s and 70s. So for the insulin resistance, I take inositol. The brand I use is called Theralogix Ovasitol Inositol Supplement Powder. It looks like this. I've had this one for quite some time, so it's pretty beaten. I open it every day. But this one comes pre-portioned, so it's not a powder that I have to scoop. I can just dump it into any of my drinks, and it dissolves in hot or cold water, and it's tasteless, which is really good. And I take these twice a day. I take this mainly to help me with my PCOS. So if any of you do have PCOS and need help in that area, talk to your doctor about this. But it says it supports insulin levels, so like my blood sugar. It also helps with fertility by promoting healthy ovarian function and your egg quality. It can help you with your hormone levels, as well as promote healthy liver function. And so for me, that is something that I take daily and have been for quite some time now, and fully plan to continue on into this year. Oh, and inositol is also good for healthy brain function, which leads me to omega-3s. I take that as well for brain function and heart health and reducing inflammation. I also take magnesium. Sometimes I go back and forth, not daily, but for a few periods of time between glycinate and citrate, but I do that for digestion and stronger bones. And then I also take zinc to help boost my immunity, and every now and then, I should probably take it more, but I don't. I'll take vitamin C for the same thing. I mentioned earlier that I was vitamin D deficient, so I take a vitamin D3 with K2, and then a women's multivitamin to fill in the rest of the gaps. I am currently on the hunt this year for a new and good probiotic, so if you have one that you like, please list it in in the comments below and help me out. And when I find one, I will share it with you guys. So those are all things that I've been taking and plan to continue on this year. However, something that I've recently started taking after talking to my mom, and it's something that I know that I've needed, super important for me specifically with PCOS, and that is fiber. There are so many different forms and ways you can take fiber. I just decided to do Metamucil, and I do 2 teaspoons of Metamucil every single morning, and that's what I use to break my fast, and I'll get into fasting in just a few minutes. And I drink that in 8 ounces of cold water every morning. A few other things that I like to do for my overall health and well-being, and this is pretty normal, it's drink water. I aim for at least 2 liters of water a day. I know that I could probably do more than that, but 2 liters of water is a good suggestion, and I know that I can get through 2 liters with no problem. And if I want more, I drink more than that, but at minimum I like to do 2 liters a day. I also, and this is something I need to be more consistent with, but I started last year, I gua sha and do dry brushing. The gua sha is easier to maintain for me because I already do skincare and I just do it at the same time. But the dry brushing, even though I know it has benefits, at times it can be like a time waster to me, and I don't need to be thinking of it like that. So I would like to do that more this year because it's so good for lymphatic drainage. And as far as ultimate lymphatic drainage, something I want to start this year is the massages. My mom does them like weekly. She loves them, and I have been wanting to do them for so long and just never took the time for finding a good place near me, and my mom lives too far away for me to go to her girl. And lastly, as far as wellness, this might sound silly, and I mean, it's not a new thing by any means, but journaling. Gratitude journaling specifically has helped my mind so much and put things into perspective for me. I know at times I can tend to forget that the life that I live right now was just a hope and a prayer when I was 18. There is always going to be something better and more out there, but gratitude journaling has helped me realize that I am so blessed. My family is so blessed. All of the things that we have are because God gave them to us, and sitting down for just a couple minutes of the day to focus on what I'm thankful for and then to truly thank God for it has been so beneficial to me. Things could always be worse. So yeah, I definitely encourage you to get a gratitude journal, or just get an empty notebook and write down 3 to 5 things you're grateful for that day. And that concludes the wellness portion of this. We're gonna get into fasting in just a second. I do think, I'm not sure, but I may dabble in a parasite cleanse next month, maybe. My friend just did one and her results were shocking. I saw her parasite. I've actually seen 2 of her parasites, and if she has them and she's way healthier than I am, then I know I have them. So if I decide to do it, I will let you guys know when and what I use and all of that. But it freaks me out, so I don't know, but I want to do it. Okay, next I want to discuss intermittent fasting. Some people like it, some people don't. I know people can have mixed feelings about intermittent fasting, and it is definitely something I would say talk to your doctor first before you start doing it, because there are certain instances and conditions that one can have where it could be unhealthy or unsafe. But for me, I absolutely love intermittent fasting. It is something that I've done and stopped doing for years, and I always come back to it because it works and it makes me feel my absolute best. And funny enough, I actually got my mom into intermittent fasting a few years ago. I was doing it then, and she was a little hesitant at first, but she did her own research and decided to do it, and now she's better at it than I am. It's completely her lifestyle. But if you're new to intermittent fasting, I'll break it down for you. And again, there's other places you can actually go and research this. But simply put, intermittent fasting is not about what you eat, and more so about when you eat, because essentially you're cycling between periods of eating and fasting, which would then give your body time to rest, digest, and then tap into your stored energy. There are several different kinds of intermittent fasting that you can do, but I do 16-8, which means that I fast for 16 hours and then eat during an 8-hour window in the day. So for me, that looks like breaking my fast at 10:30 with my glass of Metamucil and a healthy breakfast, or sometimes I'll just go right into lunch at that point, and I'll talk about food in just a minute. And then I close out my eating window at 6:30 every night. When I first started back doing it, I did find myself getting hungry in the evenings after 6:30 because Brandon and I, we'd feed the kids earlier, but he and I would eat dinner so late. My mind and my body connection were like, you ate yesterday at 8:30? 30, where's the food today? But that did dissipate after a while, and now only rarely do I go to bed and still feel hungry, and usually I'll just sip water or some tea, and tea doesn't break my fast. Intermittent fasting isn't really that difficult if you're doing the window that I'm doing, unless you are someone who likes to snack, especially with late night snacking. However, I'm asleep through the bulk of my window, and by the time I'm back from drop off in the morning, I only have an hour until it's time for me to eat. I usually just work out in that hour, and then I'm good to go to start eating. Fasting can seem like such a scary word, but it's not about like starving yourself. It's more so just giving your body a break from digestion so it can focus on healing and repairing and just using your energy more efficiently. Another thing I like about intermittent fasting is you can generally eat what you want. Obviously, you don't want to be eating thousands and thousands and thousands of calories in your eating window. You still want to be like a healthy person overall. But with intermittent fasting, I don't need to count calories. And I know that I'll see better results if I'm eating good whole foods versus trying to pack in pizza and french fries in my eating window. And if you would like a what I eat in the day video, put it down in the comments and let me know. I can show you guys what I'm eating, which brings me to the last portion of this video, which is my diet. And when I say diet, I just mean like my style of eating. I'm not on an actual diet where I'm like restricting calories and counting macros. I did that all year last year, and while it can be beneficial, it's just not something I want to do long term. I also don't have really any harsh goals on what size I want to be and a time period. There is a weight window that I do like to maintain, but it's not really the focus of this. I just wanted to make that clear. These are just healthy choices that I don't really have to think about on a day-to-day basis. I just do the same thing every day for overall health. So for 2025, I decided to go back to eating Mediterranean style. I've done it before. It's so good. You might be saying, well, if it's so good, then why did you stop? Because for me, I know I can get lazy. If I don't feel like cooking or doing anything, I'll just go to the nearest fast food place. But Mediterranean diet is so delicious, so good for you. It's great for cancer prevention, heart health, weight management, gut health, cognitive function, just your overall mental health. There are a lot of vegetables, lean meats, and healthy fats, and those are all things that we should already be doing anyway. But the key for me is meal prep. So I'm going to quickly show you the one thing that I prep at the beginning of every single week to make Mediterranean diet easy, and we can get more into it in like what I eat in a day. But I just grab 1 cucumber, 1 red pepper, a tomato, a red onion, a lemon, and some garbanzos. I go ahead and put the garbanzos into the container like so. Then the next thing I do is de-seed my pepper, so I'm gonna go do that over the sink. Okay, so we are back, and I'm just going to stick it in the top of my chopper. By the way, I have the chopper set to cut at this size. Another one. Last 2 pieces. Next is my cucumber. I cut the ends off and then just sliced it down the center. Next is my tomato. This chopper has made this very simple, cuts all of your time right in half. Lastly is the red onion, and I only use half of this because they're quite pungent. This is even less than half, but that's okay. And then to finish it off, I just squeeze half a lemon on top of the whole thing and transfer this to a container, seal it up, and I put it in my fridge. And you can use this in so many things. Brendan put it over rice, then added some salmon. I've done it over romaine with chicken. I've packed it into a pita with turkey and tzatziki sauce and hummus. You can eat it on its own if you want to, but having this already done has made it so much easier to eat during the week. And that is it for my healthy living plan for 2025. Walking, Pilates, supplements, wellness things to the body, intermittent fasting, and a good healthy Mediterranean style diet. I think getting it all figured out now at the beginning of the year is going to set me off on a great path, and I hope that if you are interested in doing something similar for yourself, you will consider joining me. And if you do, let me know. I'm really just excited for healthy living in 2025. So with that, please give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and we will be back next week with vlogs. Margot's birthday's coming up. I'm so excited. See you then. Bye.